comes to research and practice, ontology, which talks about the reality and truth, we focus on identifying knowledge specific to a given domain. For example, if you take the business domain, there's knowledge that is specific to the business domain. There's also knowledge that is general but is relevant to business domain. For example, corporate culture could be a domain-specific business knowledge. Organization is a domain general knowledge because organization could be an individual, an entity, partnership, and so forth. So it's about identifying knowledge in that given domain. Epistemology, where from a philosophical perspective, is about building a relationship with the knowledge by the researcher. When it comes to research and practice, it's about encoding knowledge. It's about developing categories and attributes about knowledge. For example, if it is about organization, is it profit-making organization or not-for-profit organization? So we can categorize organizations. If it is about attributes, we can look at a specific attributes such as in relation to profits, return on assets, return on equity. They are attributes that is related to profits. Axiology is the value proposition, what researchers value, and its their implications on the study. So if the researcher or the organization here thinks that sustainability is an ethical practice, is about corporate citizenship that should be embraced, then it is valued by that organization. It's an axiological proposition. Theory, although it is not about organizational philosophical base, but it's about attributional knowledge that has been found out through evidence and their relationships. For example, what's the relationship between return on asset and employee well-being? Can collect knowledge. When it comes to sustainability, for example, the ontology is about the domain general knowledge. It's an organization. And domain-specific knowledge is about the sustainability. So we gather knowledge about the organization and sustainability. Epistemology is encoding such knowledge for the investigation and practice, whether they're profit-making or not profit-making, and for the sustainability, what dimensions are of importance, governance, credibility, organization performance, vision, strategy, stakeholders. Axiology is about the value proposition of the researcher, and the researcher may prioritize governance, independent directors, cost leadership strategy for the strategy, and cash flows for performance as values that are of importance. And the theory is a knowing base that helps us to tap into what's already known. And here, for instance, a stakeholder theory would provide attributional knowledge and knowing about stakeholders, duty of organizations and directors, and strategy. Methodology is a decision made by the researcher to investigate the relationship among independent directors, cost leadership strategy, and cash flows. Could be investigated objectively, subjectively, or could be critiqued. Methods are ways of collecting attributional data for the purpose of investigating the phenomenon of interest. By doing so, we can collect data, archival data or data from databases, so that we establish objectivity, or we go and interact with the people like independent directors, managers, cost leadership strategy, and stakeholders, and collect data interactively by engaging with them, or critique the data and the data providers to uncover that the reality exists in reality is suboptimal than the reality it should be for the emancipation of human potential and to decrease repression and conflict in society. Knowing is about coming to know the attributional relationship between independent directors, cost leadership strategy, and the cash flows, the attributions that are of interest for this research or practice that the researcher has identified and isolated for examination.